Live and waiting for Daddy to come home from the store. It's the Vocal Minority Podcast.
I hear he's bringing treats. That's what he told me. I hope he brings my favorite chocolate bar.
I'm just confused about who these two new guys are. Is Mum in a throuple now?
Raise your voice.
What's happening?
It's 2023, man.
No shaming on this place.
Moms have needs.
True. True.
All right. Well, hello and welcome everybody to Vocal Minority Podcast, the podcast where Kristen normally puts something in this blank. On today's show, what a week. We had a couple TFC games. We had Canada starting off its Gold Cup adventure, and there was a personnel change. Was that what I read on Twitter? I don't know. I try to avoid it. And we also look ahead to the rest of the Gold Cup thingy. And I guess even some more TFC. Go figure.
Ooh.
I know. It's pretty succinct. I'm really compelled by how we're gonna do today. So let's do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much. On to the intros. He is on a podcast. Say hello to Duncan Fletcher.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Tony.
I've heard of that.
Hello,
I've heard of that
everyone.
guy.
Hello. He is on a podcast. Holy shit. It's Tony Walsh.
Sometimes.
Holy shit, that Tony Walsh? Wow.
That one. Not that one.
No,
Or
not that one.
That one. Yeah.
No, to the left. That one.
Yay.
So, hooray. Kristen is on assignment. Okay, sorry. Kristen's got an overdue assignment and is at the library. Not getting that thing done. As for me, I am on a podcast.
Oh,
I know. I'm so good at this.
that clothes thing, the fashion podcast. I've heard that.
Yeah. Bless you guys. So kind. I am your host, Mark Hinckley. Oh, that's so weird to say that. And now, on to this week's show.
You've worked hard, Mark. You deserve it.
Yes.
Thanks. It was about time I finally got the promotion. It comes with a 50% pay raise.
Oh,
It's about time us middle-aged white men broke the glass ceiling.
yes.
I just can't wait to find out what my next paycheck looks like because they're all usually zero.
But it'd be a bigger zero.
Oh, yeah. It's like they're going to print that shit on 2 pages.
Yeah. Not of like 15 sized font instead of 10.
That's authority.
Damn.
Yes.
Bolded.
Yeah. Oh,
100%.
yes.
Yeah. They want people looking at all these $0 paychecks to know who's boss. Anyway, so it's been like I said, a week and a bit. It feels like longer, but that's just because everything just kind of happened and in a roller coaster sort of way. So first things first, in chronological order, shall we say, TFC had a game, or in this case, 2. They had a game on Saturday, I believe it was Saturday, against Cincinnati, the Wednesday game was Cincinnati, pardon me, and the Saturday game was against New England.
Did they win them both?
Yes, and by yes I mean Cincinnati, New England. Cincinnati won their match quite easily, 3-0, and by easily, if you watched the match or even just the highlights, you could tell, especially if you watch the highlights. I just watched the recap because I tried to forget all of it apparently, and all the Toronto FC contributions to the highlight package were it's like the greatest misses, like that's the pun of like, hey, we're going to release this album of B-sides and call it the greatest misses because the other one's the greatest. These were the greatest misses. Like, oh, that one was almost 5 feet from the bar. Fantastic. Good shot, guys.
Now that's what I call losing.
Yes. Yes. And for those of you who collect all the albums, it's like the last ones. lost 3-0 to Cincinnati on the Wednesday, lost 2-1 after quickly gaining the lead from a nice little cross into the box and a jumping header from DeAndre Kerr, getting the lead. And then it was New England for the remaining 79 minutes. So, and that 2-1 scoreline for New England, I think was a little generous. It could have easily been 3 or 4. So, hooray. So in light of what we know, what happened earlier this week, how surprised are you guys at these results? They were going into these matches against 2 of the better teams in the East in the league, and it's kind of a bit of are you really this surprised, guys? I know we were both optimistic. We were all optimistic, but it's still Toronto. It's still the struggle. And yeah, they played 1 and 2 back to back.
Were we optimistic? I don't know if any of us were picking wins.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't remember being optimistic.
I was optimistic that we would get at least a point from one of these fuckers. So,
oh, bless you.
I know, I'm just full of hope.
You put your thoughts out to the universe like Oprah.
Yeah. But she gives away cars. So I don't have, I might give away cards, but that's just kind of doubles. Anyway, yeah.
No, not surprised. It gets it's a thing with football clubs when it's going, when it starts snowballing downhill and, players aren't playing for the manager, et cetera, et cetera. It's so hard to pull out of that nosedive. And this is a really slow, long nosedive for TFC. It just seems that, really gone to the point of no return this week or over the last week. So not really surprised. Surprised overall in the season, maybe, that there wasn't some kind of upswing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But after the first few games, we're still, even after the first few games, we're saying the same things we were saying last year. Like, what is this team? What are they trying to play? So yeah, it's, and just the way the team was put together. We'll talk more on who's responsible for that, but yeah, the whole thing is just a mess. So not shocked, maybe shocked at how little, well, I shouldn't say little fight, because I guess the New England one was kind of close, but that was like deceiving as well. Like, I don't know, no surprise for me.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't watch. Well, I watched probably about half of one of the games, and then the New England game was on while I was in a bar doing other things. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all, really. The Toronto are clearly not a very good team right now, and apparently sort of Cincinnati and New England there, and yeah, there's nothing about Toronto's recent form or sort of attitude or general vibe that suggested, oh, yeah, maybe they'll pull off an upset. It's like, yeah, no, that's just not the kind of team we are right now. So, yeah, not surprised at all.
Yeah, I don't, again, my naivete of my optimism, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Honestly, apologies if anybody placed a bet based on Mark's optimism. Anyway, completely obviously overlooking or forgetting when I made any one of those slightly positive predictions, Cincinnati hasn't dropped a single point at home all season, including to the most recent match, and New England hasn't lost a game at home yet. So going up against a team that hasn't won on the road, that was a heck of an ask. I couldn't help but think, like, watching both of those games, it felt like with Cincinnati, they hadn't done the head drop, I give up, as much as they were playing kind of angry at near the end, like just like not angry getting into fights, but like trying to put their foot through the ball type thing. And it wasn't until the second goal in New England that it looked like they had like started dropping their heads over everything, giving up. Like just body language was that was the thing that kind of resonated. Like some players kept fighting throughout the game, but you could see that it was a domino effect. It was affecting everybody at different times. So I guess, is it fair to look at this and go, well, what did we really expect because we were playing two great teams? Or like, how much of this is their class over Toronto, and how much of this is Toronto's mediocrity as a air quotes cohesive side? Because they're not cohesive. They have moments, but let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure the results would have been all that different against many clubs in MLS right now, to be honest. I think it's more where TFC are at. And you know, you say the body language, because that's all you really got to read. Like there's, I don't see a cohesion. I don't see a cohesion in the way the team is put together, period. Like from a tactical standpoint, but I definitely don't see it as far as like a team working together. So, and yeah, like I said before, it just seems not that all the players are trying to get the manager to lose his job or anything like that. Although I don't think, I would imagine wasn't a ton of tears.
Yeah, you don't get the impression they really cared about trying to keep it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think, and as much as the opposition, you know, are in good form, I wouldn't have been shocked if this was, you know, teams on near the lower ends of the table.
That's fair. I mean, like, I feel like even if Toronto was a team that was playing 500 football, that I think these results were still going to happen. Like that's not just like, you're dealing with two teams that are damn near unbeatable at home. And it's not like you can't say it's the beginning of the season anymore. We are at 19 games played, 20 games played for most, if not all teams. So you can't just go, it's, you know, run a form or anything like that. Where they ran into really fucking difficult opposition, but it's kind of exasperated by the fact that they also look mediocre against teams who aren't 1-2 in their division, and they struggle against teams that aren't 1-2. Like, you know, I know.
We lost to Miami recently.
Yeah, we lost to Miami, but like, we got Salt Lake coming up, we got St. Louis coming up. Like, these are not, they're not going to be easy games either. Like St. Louis, you know, what it would, imagine starting your team over and being a damn juggernaut. Like, holy shit. Like that's still not good to look forward to. Like, oh my God, we are literally in a storm of very good teams that we have to fly through. So yeah, I like, I don't want to, knowing what the end result from all of these pointless, when I say pointless, I mean, they got no points, pointless matches.
It works both ways.
Yeah, it kind of, the other one's just really more depressing, to be fair. Like, why do I go to these games? Like, I've got a beret, I sit in the shadow, I smoke a cigarette, you know.
Oh, I love nihilist MLS.
Yeah. Yeah. Look for my TFC third kit, which is a black turtleneck.
Life has no meaning. San Jose Earthquakes.
Yeah. So, is there can we take anything from this? Anything positive, I should say, from these performances? I mean, the kids look like they were still going for it. They were the last ones to drop heads. I can honestly say, like seeing, I mean, Kerr was desperately trying to, I felt like, steal somebody's forward job permanently, as he should have, as he could have. Just like with hustle, just keep going, attacking, being in the right place, right time quite often. I keep wondering, when does the CJ Sapong experiment ever have an end? Because I'm good. Like, he got his goal that one time. Remember that one time he got his goal? Oh,
good time.
It's a good one time. But
Is it not our turn to get Kai Kamara yet? And can not have him with Larry and Bernie?
I don't know. I mean, I think that completes it. I think that's the missing piece where we go from this mediocrity to rocket up to fourth place,
Yes.
But
just sneak into the playoffs and then win the whole thing.
And it's all because we've been asking for Kai Kamara for like the last 4 years.
Yeah.
No biggie. What do we know? Apparently a lot, but let's not get into that.
Listen,
performances?
It's good to see the younger players going out there with effort. But now it ends up being kind of a bit of a redundancy, perhaps, in that the people they were trying to impress are no longer here. So now, what happens with that? Who knows? I mean, who knows what happens with anything? Like, is Dunfield gonna try to introduce and stick with a youth movement? I can't see it because the pressure from above to stick with all the very expensive stars they have.
He was the under-17 coach. He'll know these kids like the back of his hands. He'll.
I'm glad you said hand.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, bring in some of the under-17s while he's there. Why not? It's you've got nothing to lose at this point. Yeah. I feel like Bernie and Larry would enjoy playing with a bunch of teenagers. Fuck those guys. Yeah, you're going to be. You're going to have to carry this team that's just full of teens. Let's make it happen.
That's the only thing, under 17 about Terry Dunfield. Come on. Girth.
Yeah. He's always in a 3-point stance. The last thing I want to just throw out, bring up is the performance of a player who we never thought we'd ever see play, and that was backup keeper. Greg Ranjitsingh, I kind of felt he had perfectly backup keeper games. I felt like he got hung out to dry on almost all the goals that went past him, either by just a defensive gap 3 feet in front of him or a defensive gap 20 yards in front of him. I thought he did okay. I don't know if you guys caught any of his better moments. I mean, definitely he's not threatening Sean Johnson for his role, but
Captain America.
Wait, isn't that Michael Bradley?
Well, no, it was like the States' last game. Sean Johnson was captain.
Oh, for God's sake. Was he?
I think so.
What happened to Matt Arsenal, where the fuck his name is? Isn't he the captain or something? I thought he was great or something. Anyway. I think he's overrated as fuck, but that's the other keeper, not Sean Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ranjit Singh did some good things, and I feel he could very directly say one of the goals was his fault. Not so much for a bad save, but just that's some unfortunate trying to pass your way out of the back at the wrong time, and there it goes. So yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but aside from that, he was all right. It wasn't. You always hope it's one of these things where just a random goalie comes in from nowhere, just has an absolute fucking blinder and steals the game. There was nothing like that, but he was competent generally, aside from that one glaring moment that led to a goal.
He should have invented like a cool move, like the Scorpion, like Guadita. Made a name for himself instantly. This could be his one and only shot at the big time.
Yeah,
like some kind of, how about a tornado? No one's ever done that.
Oh yeah, the spinning roundhouse kick that the Street Fighter. Oh yeah, like I mean, the action figure money would be incredible.
Yeah, like the Texas tornado, but kicking instead of punching.
With a leg, right? Instead of a fist.
I think you mean the tornado. I think you mean the tornado Texas, but that's okay.
To be fair, Duncan, he is the goalie. Yes, he could do the fist thing too. I completely forgot about that.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, the red cards will be spectacular, and the concussion protocol will really get to work. But my God, what a spectacular save!
Or even like a classic like Hayugen, like when the ball's coming in, instead of like smacking it away, just do like a nice Mortal Kombat move on it.
Oh yeah, yeah, just a jumping, leaping uppercut. The ball was never going to go anywhere near the bar, but he went for it anyway because it looked spectacular.
Bison.
Is he available?
No one wants to sign Russians right now.
Yeah, no, it's tricky. It's not anyway. So from two disappointments, we move on to Canada's Gold Cup, beginning of the campaign, start of the campaign, with a disappointing loss to Guadeloupe. Now, I will say that it was a draw, but let's be fair, that was a loss, and it felt like a loss. Especially if you watched it, it was painful and it hurt. And yeah, they got a point. They did get a point, but and I know that Guadeloupe's got a couple guys on there who are quietly overlooked by everybody in football except those at Guadeloupe who know what the fuck they're about. We lost Guadeloupe, and they gave up an early goal, came back, looked great, and then in typical TFC fashion, shit the bed in like the 90th minute, which was like, but the red team was the one who tied it. I'm not used to this. Because
what the hell? I feel like this. You've got to be implementing this as well, Mark. It's like, why are Canada not playing in red at home?
I'm trying to ruin national team programs too. I have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Also, why does Guadeloupe have a better Canada kit than Canada does?
I wish I had. I wish I could give a real good answer for that, but it just means they picked a better template out of the catalog.
They don't even have their own flag to fly, for God's sake.
I know.
I couldn't figure out the
foreign anthem. They don't even have their own anthem.
I couldn't figure out the number of Suriname flags that I kept seeing in the crowd. I don't. Maybe that's a thing I'm not fully aware of. I'm not.
Is that some kind of derby where they ironically like bantering?
What that is? Just give me a moment here. I was specifically looking this up during the game there. That is a flag proposed by the UPLG, which is the like Guadeloupean People's Liberation Front kind of thing. But yes, It's essentially the Suriname flag.
Hilarious. Okay, then I'm not losing my mind that I was seeing Surinamese flags. And thank you for the eye opener. Did not know that. Yeah,
they've got 3 flags. There's that one, which is like I say, proposed by some like separatist group that wants to break away from France, the ungrateful bastards. And then there's a couple of other unused official flags. The same design. One of them's got a black background. One of them's got a red background. But it's like a sun and like something. I don't know, a plant of some kind, maybe, or something behind the sun, and then a few fleur-de-lises. And it's interesting. Guadeloupe vexillology is kind of interesting, but, they get stuck with just the French one for now. Boo.
Are they Guadeloupean? Guadeloupeans?
Guadeloupists.
Oh, very nice.
Guadeloupists.
Let's see what Wikipedia, because I usually have the demonym in the thing and the.
Oh, nice word, Mark. You're right. That's right.
Hey, I've spent enough time on Wikipedia looking up this shit to remember that word. Guadeloupean.
Mm.
I might not have the pronunciation syllables on the right emphasis, but because it looks like Guadeloupean. Fantastic. So. Back to the original thing that led us down this rabbit hole. The only thing the kits. It's the kits. We're not even talking about the game yet. The kits, because they announced Canada's new incredibly bland red kit that's even shittier than the one that they wore at the World Cup. Good thing we waited, guys. And what I figure is they're not ready yet. because they could have worn their reds against, was it Panama? They could have worn their reds against the United States. We were the home team. So we should have worn our reds against Guadeloupe. Yeah. Screw this deal. Seriously, Nike, can you get shittier with this? I mean,
I thought that whole kit thing was just a joke because it's like, hey, new kit that just looks the same bland, like nothingness as the old kit. What exactly is new about it?
It's like
do they actually
Malibu
have it in
Butterbean.
stock? Yeah. Do they actually have it in stock to buy? That would be new.
and would you get it at a reasonable time rate or with what you want on the back? Because I've heard that's also been a thing. I don't understand why they just couldn't give the kit that the women have for the men's team, just because it's fucking dope and it's awesome, and our programs, plural, deserve to all wear nice things. This is a kit rant. This isn't a sexism rant, I promise you.
Why can the men not have equality with the women when it comes to shirts? Why do we get fobbed off with the crap and the women always get the good shirts? Why can't we be equal?
To be perfectly fair, and I've thought this for many years, but I also believe this to be, if you play for the women's team of Barcelona, your shirt should look like the men's team. Sponsor notwithstanding, they should be the same shirt. I don't care. Why not the national team as well? I understand that it's different if you're going to have a really awesome shirt for the men and a different but awesome shirt for the women. Yeah, okay, you know what? No problem. But it's still regurgitated dog shit for the men's team and top shirt for the women's team. Like, I'm happy the women get it. I just, like, if we can't have something equal, let's just have that one, because there's also enough people who want the women's shirt in men's sizes anyway. And I don't know what that looks. Okay, this is turning into a different show that I podcast. I'm sorry. Back to the game, because the game. What I have my theories as to, I mean, it's not really a theory. I think it's pretty much well known as to how it all went wrong. What are your thoughts on this match as an entire performance?
It was a good indication that Canada is not at a place where it can lose probably it's at least like six best sort of like attacking sort of midfield type people and still look good. I mean, aside from that, the first half was just like nothing really going on at all. The second half looked better, and then we took this weakened team and weakened it even further by subbing off a bunch of the more experienced players, and unfortunately, right at the end, went wrong. Yeah. Nice for Jason Russell-Rowe to get a goal on his debut, but other end would have been better.
Yeah, agreed.
Overall, it's just like okay, Canadians need to sort of temper their expectations a bit, especially given that at least well over half of the ideal starting lineup wasn't there. That's probably not. I still think like we should be able to beat Guadeloupe, but yeah.
I mean, we kind of touched on it after the Nations League result. I hope I'm wrong. It feels like maybe the wind has changed direction a little bit on the program. I don't think it's anything to do with the outside mess that's going on with CSA and anything, but just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be clicking like it was a year or two ago. I don't know if that's just me. It just something feels a bit off, and I'm not sure what it is. And you kind of hope that, I mean, I understand the demands on the players and having to return to their clubs soon to prepare for next season, the European players specifically. But you kind of want to see them make a real run at this tournament to see kind of, if not to win it, but to see where they actually properly stand in CONCACAF. Like, you can't fluke the World Cup qualification.
No.
Yeah, that's a long ass, journey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that by any means, but it wasn't a long time ago, but it feels like a long time ago. Want to see, it would be nice to see where they stack up against at fairly full strength, if they could, against, their peers in the group, to see. I mean, I know obviously we already qualify for the next World Cup anyway, but you don't want to show up at that World Cup and have a performance like we did, in Qatar. So I don't know, I guess I'm more interested to see how they look when they're at full strength again. But then again, by the sounds of the economy of the CSA, we might not be seeing them play too many competitive matches as a big group.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Is this?
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that this result is more of the fact that we were just missing those 6 to 8 players who, let's be fair, are more premium names that are usually on our senior men's national team? Or is it a case of this is just Guadeloupe? How bad could this be?
Yeah.
Like
it didn't help that they first team. So most of the players who probably would have the most impact weren't available for whatever reason. Sure, that had an effect, but at home to Guadeloupe, Canada's B+ team needs to be able to take care of that match.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should still be able to beat Guadeloupe. I mean, you look at just the difference between how they played in the first half and it's like how they came out at the start of the second half, and I was like, no, well, holy shit, what's going on there? There was a big difference there. So you kind of look at that and say, well, yeah, okay, that's how we should be able to. So, maybe it was a little bit of a, they weren't really up for it, and then, at a halftime team talk. But, like you say, feels anyway a bit disappointing that, they couldn't get things together and just be sort of really going for this, and decided to, I guess, the Nations League was where they really went for it, but even then it didn't come together. So, yeah, like I said, the whole World Cup qualification thing kind of feels like a long way away. It's, they just, got sort of lightning in a bottle, however you want to say it. It's just that they had a specific goal and, things sort of really worked out. And it was even a little bit before that. I mean, you can look at the 2021 Gold Cup. They very nearly beat Mexico in their semi-finals, or at least very nearly tied with them and all that. And it had kind of been building for a while. But yeah, I feel like it's been a while since there's been any kind of, holy shit, Canada looks really good and better than you'd expect. It's since he actually sort of clinched the World Cup qualifying. It's kind of gone downhill a bit since then. And, is a lot of that just due to the, shit that's going on in the background, and they feel sort of unrewarded, and, like they went through and they committed to this like long sort of multiple trips back and forth, like qualification process, and then just, it seems like they just didn't get rewarded for it, and so they're a little less motivated now. I don't know.
Yeah, but, I'll say this without sarcasm. Have they played a good match since the match they qualified in?
And I thought they played well against Belgium.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a fair point.
I'd say that Nations League qualifier against Honduras when they're like 4-1 up at halftime. That was quite good.
Okay, yeah.
But
that's fair. Those are good points. Yeah, the only thing I just kind of listen. It can all be erased with a big bounce back. So it depends how they get off the mat after that and see through the rest of this tournament. They could turn it. turning it around is a big part of how you deal with the loss, or not a loss, feels like a loss, but a draw. But so if they turn it around and do something potentially special in Gold Cup, then all this is forgotten easily. The only thing I feel, listen, these things happen in CONCACAF with the teams, especially the Caribbean teams. They have these matches now and again. I just kind of thought that as a program, Canada had gotten over that be shocked by the minnow phase, that we really were putting those teams to the sword, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, including, teams at the Honduras Panama level have been able to sort of beat them relatively comfortably recently. So yeah, there's depth probably isn't there to be able to lose David Davies, Larin, Buchanan, Eustachio, Kone, Hutchinson, and et cetera, and still be able to do that. So
yeah, I mean, reading them off like that is very, it illuminates the conversation, really. I mean, name me too many national teams who could lose that many of their core group and have a good performance, in any confederation. Not that many.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's harsh to read too much into it, given that. I mean, all of those absences are disappointing and just kind of give me a little bit of a, just like, all right, well, we're just not even trying for this, are we? So why bother getting excited kind of feel? But yeah, given all those absences, it's a bit harsh to be reading too much into the performances.
I guess the great unknown of this is, would they have been able to put together a stronger squad if the organization, the CSA, wasn't in such a mess? Is there part of that and the players' feelings, which you touched upon, swaying? If someone was kind of on the fence, if they should be available for the national team for this tournament, like, are there feelings from their treatment from CSA, the situation CSA, which is, I'll give this one a pass, when if things were running the way it should be, would be more likely to show up for it?
Yeah, quite possibly. And they obviously probably had their club's request. It's last year was a long year. You really should get a bit of rest, and maybe if they were full of fucking love and of appreciation in both directions and feeling rewarded, they'd say, no, fuck you, I've got a chance to win this trophy. I'm going to go and play for Canada to win this trophy and whatever. Maybe some more of them might have made that decision, but
that's pretty much how that's my attitude, my approach to this, same as Dunk. Like, if everybody to show up for the Nations League semifinal and final, it's the semifinal and the final. Why not? There was a payday to win it. It's right there. You know what I mean? Like, it was a shorter path for those guys who may have been disgruntled to travel to get to the extra rewards, trophy, money, glory. Sure. But this is a whole new thing. And I've done a lot this year for this country, for this national team, and they're kind of pissing me off. And like the whole idea of like them saying, we're going to take the summer off here, have fun, guys. It makes sense, but also too, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if there wasn't too much resistance from Herdman and the CSA, in the sense of, well, maybe this is a good time to get some meaningful minutes for the fringe players, and like let that be like a camp in itself, where Liam Fraser and Dominic Zantar and all those guys who are like getting their first call-ups are going to get meaningful minutes, get some meaningful caps. And like, why not? Like, no disrespect to the Gold Cup, but if they're going to take one off, this is a good one to take off. After the previous 12 months, this is a good one to take off. Understand, no problem. We'll get them next time, guys. It's good. But I kind of feel, though, I kind of feel like the killer instinct did lack, even with an entirely different roster of, the starting 11 for this was not anything like the starting 11 versus the United States for the Nations Cup, Nations League, whatever that thing in Las Vegas was.
The Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup, is that what it was called?
Yeah, that's the one.
You know what? It's just like bring back the milk cup, okay, and at least give it a name that stands out. Fairs Cup, like
the trophy to plastic bag full of milk.
Oh my god,
a milk bag,
amazing. Like anyway, I kind of feel like that Canada's B team should have been at least a little more dominant and won that game. And I mean, look, for all intents and purposes, they should have won that game against Guadeloupe. And also to like an earlier point, like, getting up for these other teams, our group is kind of littered with all of those types of teams. Like Guatemala obviously is the stronger of the other three, but they're not that strong. Like in comparison of the last 20 years, like Guatemala is the lesser of that neighborhood. And I'm sorry, Guatemala fans, I'm not lying. You just know that. So like to take the entire group softly, that is really on the cards. Like, I feel like that can so easily happen. If they're taking Guadeloupe easy, and like that team is littered with players who are playing in France, playing in Europe in general. So it's not like it's half the team is from the local leagues, which I'm sure is probably super competitive, but like they're nothing to like completely dismiss. It's a strange tournament, and I kind of feel like strange tournament for Canada as far as setup goes, because it just doesn't seem like a thing that Canada would do. And I'm not going to say phone it in, but to basically use it to, like I said, get kids experience. So I think this is going to be a bumpy Gold Cup, and if they get out of this group, the knockouts will be a knockout pretty quick. All right, so what we're talking about. So I believe it was it Tuesday? It feels like it was Monday or Tuesday. It feels like it wasn't that long ago, where at least my Twitter, I don't know about your Twitters, but my Twitter was absolutely abuzz at Daddy's departure. Bob Bradley is gone to the that's the same joke Tony made earlier. He's left the club and he ain't coming back.
He said he was just going to get smokes.
Yeah. That's what they always say. And he'll be back in a minute, right? He'll be back in a minute.
How
long's it been?
Just keeps sitting on that front step looking down the street. He'll be there any moment. Yeah.
Is it our fault?
Eventually that maroon Oldsmobile will turn the corner and you'll be like, Daddy's home. But no. Bob Bradley drives a maroon Oldsmobile.
Oh, yeah. Fact.
Which is also a hell of a vision, really.
Oh, yeah. That's a solid automobile.
So Bob came to the end of his rope, and they have announced that Terry Dunfield will be taking over as I guess interim head coach. Also went with Bob is technical assistant coach, technical director Mike Sorber, as we all remember him.
Sorber.
Yeah, you remember him from I think it was on Webster, was it? I have no idea. I picked the first 80s TV show I could think of. But he went with and so that effectively opened up two jobs, because Bob had two jobs. So Dunfield's the coach, and as much as we laughed at the position of player engagement.
Hi.
It turns out that's like 2 rungs away from being general manager. So Jason Hernandez was promoted from assistant general manager to general manager, along with the other announcements in the transfers. Damn. Hi.
Super draft.
Super draft. My voice can't handle doing this. It's
you got to do it. You have to do it for every rumor now. Every transfer rumor.
Look, I hope next episode my voice will be back to not pre-sick sound, and then I can really go for it. You guys are doing wonderful, by the way. Like, feel free to just channel your inner Hernandez and just go for it, because I would appreciate that. And I know Kristen would appreciate that while she's writing her history paper or whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, so we have a new coaching and management regime, I guess.
Is he a full-time or interim, Hernandez?
It looks like Hernandez was promoted outright. No interim.
Yeah, was
That's
title attached to him.
That's a bold choice.
Does he wear ties to meetings?
Half not.
Windsor?
Yeah. So I mean,
is he now in charge of picking the next coach?
Short list?
I'm honestly though, I kind of feel like the way that coaching goes.
No.
The way that how prominent the role coaching is, while I'm sure he's got a big hand in picking them, I'm sure it's not just up to Jason Hernandez to pick a new coach. Given the drama that has endured. I mean, who knows? Whenever Michael Bradley gets back from his trip to Wales or wherever he was getting his badges, he might be slipping right in.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, Terry.
Hello, I'm Welsh Michael Bradley.
Coal mine.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Shirley
Bassey.
Delightful.
Aberist with. We really should have made a history ball our stupid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Daddy was supposed to stay around, and then sort of Michael Bradley comes back and he's got his badges, and he retires in a year or two, and maybe does a year as an assistant coach, and then he joins in, and Dad's fully up in the general manager's box, and then Bradley's head coach, and glory obviously instantly follows because
like the royal family.
Yeah. And, by then, Michael's kids are probably old enough to be like assistant coaches or something. At the very least, they can run TikTok for the team, you'd think.
I thought they already had a Bradley doing TikTok for the team. What's that other Bradley?
Yeah, what was it, Jeff? What's Uncle
wasn't
Jeff?
Wasn't he in communications or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. But who knows?
I imagine there's a Brad.
He's still around.
Bradley sounds right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Mikey needs all the babysitters he can get. Or, Bob's going to have a lot of time for that now. So, hey, Grandpa's here again. Do you not have a job, Grandpa? No, I don't.
Go get me a sandwich now. Run.
Yes.
He's got the bread and the cheese at opposite ends of the kitchen. So they have to go it's like doing suicides, except in the kitchen. They're running back and forth and back and forth. Anyway, I imagine he's a delightful grandfather. Get off my lap.
What is this, Italian sausage? Get it out of my face. I don't want pizza.
If I ever have to look at a pizza again, God help me. I guess, all right. So I know we've arguably been calling for in various ways. Is he done? Was he done? Should he have been fired long ago? Is this the right time for Bradley Sr. to get ejected from the club? Should have been earlier. Giving him another game or two.
Was it even a good idea at the beginning? I don't know. It's such a weird era. like
it has been.
Like we've had like obviously many shitty eras with like various coaches of different pedigrees, but like I don't have we had one to come in who had like a higher, I guess, expectation / history of like, you know, recent success in this league at least, and like just saw it go like sideways, like, or never take off really. That's the thing, it never took off.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was never a sustained period of, oh, things are turning around.
Yeah, no, it's true. You're never a gradual increase.
Yeah, I mean, the first half of last year was clearly, all right, well, you know, got rid of some contracts and we're kind of bumbling through. And then, hey, you know, the Italians are going to come along and eventual success will be immediate. And that lasted for like one game. And then nothing, you know, there was never really ever that big sort of gain from the Italians coming. And then this season didn't get going either. And yeah, you know, eventually, is it too late? You know, probably not. I mean, it's worth, you know, given the amount of money that's been invested, you know, probably in Bob Bradley as well. I can't imagine he came cheap as far as MLS managers go. He had, you know, of a pedigree and sort of success and that sort of thing, and it's worth giving it a shot. But clearly, wasn't working. So, yeah.
What I will say about the timing is that it was, if you were going to do it anyway, it was about 3 weeks too late because Neil Warnock had yet to re-sign with Huddersfield. He was available, and now he is not.
What a tragedy. We almost had it.
What about our old friend from Sometimes in a Man's Life? What's he doing?
Okay. I imagine he's back down at the garage, changing out transmissions or on old 1970s Ladas, I suspect. It has. I'm just going for the most.
And you know,
thing.
Big Sam didn't catch on at Leeds. I mean, let's get him in. He's a good guy to bring in for a crisis.
Yeah, I can guarantee you. We could guarantee him that he would save TFC from relegation.
Yes,
this is true.
He'd get that legacy back.
This is true.
Yep. Came in halfway through the season. There was absolutely fucking in the toilet. But did they get relegated? Nope. No, they didn't. No. Yeah. Big fucking Sam did
consolidation.
The job.
Yep.
Yes.
Another masterstroke. Yeah, I think the strangest thing about this whole thing was what came out in that Athletic article where Vanny basically wanted the role that was created for Bob Bradley, and they said no, and he pieced out and went to Los Angeles, and he's thriving. And I mean, I can't imagine why, like, other than the fact that they probably had Bob lined up way before that, you know, Vanny had sniffed around looking for that whole package of control. How you'd say no to a guy who literally brought you a whole whack of trophies and nearly the one that was probably the hardest they'll ever try to get. Like, how do you honestly, how do you tell that guy no? And like what success has Bob had in the last 5 years that Greg didn't have? And and do you really have that little faith in the guy who got you to 3 finals, won one of them, over the guy who did he get Swansea relegated? I lost track. I don't know.
I think he got canned before they got relegated. But
okay.
Yeah.
But like, to me,
he got Egypt to the World Cup, didn't he? Oh, no, not quite.
But Egypt and World Cups don't really get along.
No, they don't.
That is a fun dive. The most dominant club or the most dominant country in African football has one of the most abysmal records at the World Cup, in the sense that they don't go that often. Anyway,
it's like the Canadian women's team, the Olympics, the fucking Vikings, World Cup. Yeah, no, not so much.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's kind of
finals at most.
Kind of like that. It's true. That's a fair comparison. But that's out of all the things that came out of that Athletic article, that was the one I was like, okay, I don't give a shit about all the other infighting and punching and drama and nepotism and all that. Like that, whatever. I'm sure that happens at not every club, but I'm sure it happens at a lot of clubs. It's just different things, and keeping it under wraps is just what you do. But like going to think that Bob Bradley was somehow going to be the answer of a renaissance, when like Vanny literally took a club that couldn't make the playoffs after winning the whole thing and then got them to the final the following year. Like, I don't know what kind of motivational voodoo you have to perform, but that's fucking incredible. With a team that was broken down as that one, it was amazing. So I don't know. I kind of feel like, I mean, hindsight always 2020, that Bob was probably the wrong answer. Duh. But the fact that they gave him the keys to the entire thing is, I think, the part that really is surprising, and that he was given the keys to the entire thing, and this is what he's got. Like this is the side he's built. Like I'm really not that impressed. Like on paper, individually, some of these guys are fantastic, but like how he could not have got them to just get their shit together in long enough to win more than 2 or 3 games is really like, I just don't understand how it went so sideways. So for such a sustained period of time, given that he can't go, well, it was the general manager's fault. It was him. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's for 2 years. It seemed like a team torn between not knowing if it wanted to build a team for marketing or for tactical purposes. There doesn't seem to be a meshing of the players they brought in and any kind of, like, we've said it a bunch of times, any kind of like long-term plan of a way they want to play. Mm-hmm. I still don't know. I've said it so many times. I still don't know what, for most of the time, what they're trying to do out there. It seems like a different philosophy, even during a single game. It seems to change.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be a mystery why he may very well go on to another MLS club. I'm sure he'll get another shot somewhere and do just fine. And yeah, it will, like I said at the beginning, is for me, it's just one of the strangest periods. Like it could be funny in the past when we had coaches who were, almost like learning on the job or inept for one reason or another. Mm. But like, yeah, this guy there was no comedy to him, if you know what I mean. Like, this is like, okay, you're supposed to be doing good now. No, now? How about now?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's strange. But onward and upward, or at least onward anyway. So in one of the other things that was regularly brought up, I guess, with the announcement of said departures was the calling for Bill Manning to join them in the ejection process. Bill's still here. I don't know how much. Like, I still don't feel like he's to be blamed for as much as this. Like, it's his responsibility to hire the right people and get the right personnel in. And I mean, when it's not, it's also his responsibility to, get him out. And I know that a lot of supporters, shall we say, the more impatient ones. And if you're one of those impatient ones, it's not about you, honestly. But like, get rid of, sack everybody, as if that's the solution to everything. Like, I don't, this is North American sport. We don't have to sack everybody, for better, for worse. But I know to a previous point, I had the quote and I've lost the quote, but apparently during the press conference that Bill Manning had on Tuesday, and I'm paraphrasing, that he didn't know what style of play Toronto plays. He just, like, something along the lines of like of that. And I don't know if that's necessarily
nobody does.
Yeah. No, but thank you. If that's the part I was missing. Is that something that you could be proud of, just to say out loud, though? I mean, is he speaking on behalf of like the average TFC supporter, and I say the average, I'm not talking about the people on Twitter or the people on social medias. I'm talking about everybody in the stadium, the average, the person who sits in like 106. Where's the fancy seats? Like, not the fancy seats, but the ones either side of the fancy seats. I would say that's probably the average TFC supporter. Are they like, do they know? Are they that versed as to the style that Toronto plays? Like, I don't even, anyway. I kind of almost took it as that, but also you could read between the lines and easily go, no, nobody actually, like, Toronto doesn't even know what style Toronto plays. Is Bill on thin ice? I think that's the question I'm trying to get to here. Is this one more rung closer to his departure, or is that just?
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you get to hire people and see if they work? Sort of, obviously he came along with Bezbachenko and Vanny were still in place, and he seemed like things went well for a while there, and then eventually they sort of obviously left, and sort of Ali Curtis didn't really work out. Chris Armas didn't really work out. Javier, what's his name, didn't work out, but whatever, that was just a temporary thing anyway. Bob Bradley hasn't worked out. How many swings does a guy get? Is the question. I think presumably, we'll give him sort of one more, and whether that's Hernandez and Dunfield, or Hernandez and somebody else, or exactly what it might be, I don't know. It's things have not worked out in a while, and part of me thinks as well, it's just like, well, you did a good thing for yourself, taking on that Argos job, because what are they going to do? Fire him from TFC and keep him for the Argos? It's like all or nothing. Does MLSE want to go out and try and find somebody to fill TFC and Argos president's job? Probably not. So, all right, go on. You can have one more go. I think that's probably where we are.
Fair.
Well, if he was an American president, like sports president, he'd get 4 tries, but he only gets the 3 up here. It's a CFL joke.
It's a CFL joke.
Come on. Everything Duncan said is spot on, really. I mean, the Argos thing is interesting. He's become like the ultimate MLSE sporting employee, right? Like, I don't know, unless it goes in reverse and Pinball Clemens becomes president of the Argos and TFC. Who knows? I'm only half joking.
It is funny though. That is fun.
I mean, it's like, you're right that his job is trying to put the right people in place to run the club, but there's not a great deal of infrastructure. I'd say most MLS clubs, from the president to the GM. In other clubs, you have usually kind of a footballing brain trust in more traditional big clubs around the world. Here, it's pretty much, that seems like that's it, really.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a technical director, I don't know, but they don't seem to have a lot of input. So at some point, like, Manning's got to look at what Bradley's doing at some point and have those conversations with him. And he should know, he should have had those conversations with Bradley and say, okay, so what are we going for here? What's if Bradley was truly fully in charge of deciding the personnel and the direction of the club, how is Manning not party to that and like overseeing it? He is his boss. So if he sees it going in a strange direction or no direction, then sure, at some point the buck has to stop with him. I mean, and yeah, so really, I don't know. I think by putting Hernandez in so quickly, like I don't, why wouldn't he have just put him as an interim? That I don't understand. I guess maybe it gives stability. But I don't know. Like you give like in this situation, is now the time for first time GMs and first time head coaches, especially with, if Bob Bradley was having trouble harnessing the powers of the bigger stars on TFC, what chance does Terry Dunfield and Hernandez have?
I feel like though this is the structure between MLS and what the rest of the world knows as football, that the punishment for finishing last isn't getting demoted. So the pressure to act quicker is not there. And I think if like in that sense of familiarity, if you had like if we had relegation in this league, I think Bradley would have been sacked a lot quicker. Wouldn't have been game 19-20. It would have been game 11, game 10.
If we had relegation in this league, I don't know if MLSE would have ever bought his franchise in it.
This is true. I mean, would we be talking about, should we be sacking Bob Bradley after he got us out of the third division? Like, anyway. Because we struggle. But because of that, the urgency to move isn't as dire. Like if we don't make a change now, well, we are heading in a direction we cannot get out of because we need points to survive. Yeah. But I just kind of feel like I don't know. It's because there is that safety, because this is like the North American version of the game, that things can go on a lot longer because you don't get demoted, because the prize money at the end of the season, this season, will probably be roughly the same as it was last season, and it'll be the same next season, regardless if you're this good or bad. You know what I mean? Like, so there's no,
and hey, shit the bed, you get a good draft pick. Hurrah!
Yeah, I know, right? Fucking parody.
Unless we sold our draft pick already, which we probably did. I don't know. But
to the other point, like, well, what's Terry Dunfield going to do to speak to like these superstars that Bob Bradley couldn't do or didn't do? Who knows? It obviously isn't working. One guy doesn't look like he wants to be here. The other guy just realized I have to do more than what I thought I was doing. Like it's just I don't know what that motivation is, and I don't know what that level of human management looks like, where you can have the same conversation with a guy who makes $8 million a year and then he leaves the office, and then the guy who comes in making $80,000 a year, and you have a similar but different conversation with. Like, I don't know what any of that shit looks like. So at the worst case scenario, because they're, second to last and showing not a lot of signs of fight left, I feel like you're at the point where, well, it can't get much worse. To be fair, it just can't.
You say second to last, and it can't get much worse. Does first to last, so does the team actually in last, do they have any big players coming in, something that might make their second half of the season better, and anything like that? Anything like that happening with Miami? They got anyone big coming in?
Well, they got 2 games in hand. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anything that might turn their season around?
No, I mean, not that I can think of.
No, me neither.
No,
I do think though, just the
good point.
what I could look at this most hilarious outcome for me. I mean, I think it's like Terry Dunfield. Bless him. I enjoy Terry Dunfield in certain ways. Just his kind of just general personality and vibe is fun. But do I don't know his work with like the under 17s or what have you. Maybe he genuinely actually really is a good coach. Doubtful. But I think the most hilarious sort of option for me is, I feel like I presume it was Manning, but whoever, talking about how, there's going to be the next 4 games, and that can be like kind of like Dunfield's audition to see, should he be getting the job permanently? So I think the most hilarious option for me is, we get a new coach bump, and all of a sudden we look quite good, and so they think, you know what, let's give it to Dunfield, and it all goes horribly wrong. Go back to 2012 after Aaron Winter, Paul Merida came in, and the first 9 or 10 games they did pretty well, and then it all kind of fell apart. So I think hilarity is Dunfield comes in, does quite well enough to, all right, we're going to give you the job permanently, and that will be a terrible mistake.
However, in that scenario, you know what that means? Terry Dunfield, Leagues Cup champion, winning manager.
Well, maybe that's it. That's the thing. Dunfield comes in, they win the Leagues Cup, and give him the job permanently, and then the next 2 seasons are effect now because of that. Who knows? But hey, it'd be worth it for the Leagues Cup glory.
Yes.
My God, I want this narrative to be true, and I look forward to it happening.
At least the parade will be in warm weather this time.
Oh my God, can it be? I mean, I don't know if I'm going to take the day off, but I certainly
Leagues Cup till I die, baby.
Yeah, no, the tournament we've been shitting on since its announcement. All of a sudden is like, man, I can't wait till next year's Leagues Cup. Defend against a group with Puebla and probably Las Vegas, who I imagine they'll have a team by then. Anyway, yeah, so that's it's been a day. It's been a day. All right, let's change it up a little bit. Still sticking with TFC. So a casualty, a tragedy of amidst all this was a bit of nice news. Toronto FC has announced a partnership with the Toronto Caribbean Carnival.
Can we just call it Caravana?
Ooh, I don't know. Legal? No, they say no. Legal says no.
Legal
Sorry.
says no.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So they've gone into partnership with the festival formerly known as Caravana. It's a better name. It's such a better name. There'll be tie-ins to I believe the Caribbean Heritage Night, which is not this weekend, but the following weekend against St. Louis, and a bunch of other intersections promoting the event, the carnival itself, and various other community tie-ins associated with it. I think this is good. I think it's very, very good. It's kind of nice to see Justin Morrow doing his Justin Morrow thing. So that's he was part of a key part of that negotiation, that partnership, I think is the word I'm looking for. So that was kind of a nice little reveal. It's nice to see the football team doing more with the community and actually looking like just a look, we're here to help type thing rather than sometimes the exchanges that tend to take place.
Two things I'd like to see come out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Another kit that is
gray, on it,
similar to Ajax's Bob Marley kit. That would be a good place to start.
Fucking fabulous.
And also a parade of TFC Caribbean legends since 2007. So we've had a few.
There's a few.
Yeah.
There's,
Starting with Colin Samuel.
he ate all, didn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Trinidadian, right?
That's true.
O'Brien White.
O'Brien White. Yes.
Decoy
Julius-
Williams.
Decoy
Williams.
fucking Williams.
Julius
My-
James.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Javier Martinez, does that count? He's from that
Yeah,
Curacao.
they're in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Jermaine Defoe is of Lucian descent. I think his mother is from St. Lucia.
So,
Mhm.
Jermaine Defoe's mom. Sweet.
Yeah. Didn't she talk to Drake?
Probably. Or it's LeBron James. It was LeBron James.
Oh yeah, LeBron James. Yeah. Who am I forgetting? I feel I'm forgetting somebody.
There's probably a couple others, honestly. And I say this because I'm just
Haitian. Who's the Haitian guy? Oh,
Leslie Falinga.
Leslie Falinga. Yeah.
My God.
Right. Yes. Well
This
done.
is, for the record, this is one of those moments like between you, Tony, and you, Duncan, you guys like remember 98% of the entire roster, like at any point in time. And every once in a while I manage like, holy shit, I know this one. And
don't forget Reginald Lamb
oh yeah, the Bermudan Lambs. My God,
Yes.
legend.
and Freddie.
Yes.
What's his face? Oh, he passed away, didn't he?
Freddie Hall.
Yeah. Did he pass away?
Who?
Mm.
I don't know.
On the, you're just exactly what you were saying there, Mark. There was some like article I was reading in the paper recently. It was talking about. I actually think it was in the paper. It was Michael Singh put it up online. I think it might have been on his Substack. He was just going through all of the different trades that Bob Bradley had done and whatever. And one of them was like Kamal Lawrence. I was like, when the fuck did Kamal Lawrence what? So he would fit into this
Yes.
thing.
Oh,
But yeah. So what you were saying there, would know this or this. Yeah, but probably not for the last 3 or 4 years. Like up until about like 2017, 2018, sure. But the last few years, so many players. Holy shit, we had that guy. And Kamal Lawrence, he was one of them. He'd fit into this thing.
And yes, Freddie Hall did pass away a year ago. That's right.
That's right. Okay.
Kind of talked about it. Yeah.
But okay, so this is a float I could totally like get behind 100%.
Yeah.
And I imagine it will never go this far unless they're residing locally. Let's be fair. But
Marco Velez?
Fucking awesome. I know. I thought about him too. Do we count?
Does Puerto Rico count?
Puerto
Does
Rico? Did we count Puerto
did they-
Rico? I don't. I'm not the one who's drawing the lines here. I'm not.
Me neither.
I just want to say this.
I feel like Puerto Rico's in the Caribbean, isn't it?
I mean, it is, but is it? This is not. This is not for me to call. This is not for me to call. I'm deleting this. I don't care. We're gonna edit this part out. I don't want to have any part of this. I don't want to get in a fight. I'm not here for this fight. I'm just saying, like, I would say yes. I would say yes as a geography person. Yes, absolutely. But I don't know where the lines are. I just don't know where the lines are. Okay.
I feel like that there's a pretty big, like, vibrant Spanish speaking, like, contingent to the Caribbean as a whole. Anyway, I don't think. Yeah, I think Puerto Rico can totally be
Ashton
considered.
Bennett. Don't forget Ashton Bennett, Jamaican.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So the
Pretty good.
debate. We'll save this debate for Kristen.
Yes. She likes deciding who and who is on the outs.
She is all about selecting. Yeah.
One thing's for sure: Edmonton not invited.
Oh, that's a third time she's done it to them. That's not. All right, so we'll keep with just to move along here. Tata Martino has been named Inter Miami coach.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? That's about the correct reaction to that news. Sure.
It makes more sense than Phil Neville. So, yep.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And anyway, the last thing, we're going to save this part for last because, it's been a light show. Let's be honest. It's been really light. Not a lot of serious discussion of change and doom and gloom. So Canada Soccer, bankruptcy? Question mark.
Big boy pants.
Yeah.
Looking a
yeah.
bit threadbare.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
holes that need darning in those pants.
Honestly,
The knees are messed up, not deliberately. This is not distressed thing. Is it? No, they're just old and cheap and broken, and
Yeah,
big boy pants not looking good.
Canadian soccer moths have been eating at them.
So I don't know who listens to our podcast and doesn't know that this is going on. So I feel like I got to just throw it out there. An interview with Rick Westhead from TSN, with Jason DeVos, interim secretary Jason DeVos. Like, they're really just going to give any guy the job? I mean, he's been
Worldwide search.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It stops at this street.
He played for Darlington, Mark. He's qualified.
Okay, but what side of the pro anti Jason DeVos side are you on, Dunk? Because I feel you're probably the most conflicted person on this between the big boy pants and the Darlington thing. So, like, which, like, are you pro? If you're pro, that's fine. That's totally fine. You're allowed to. I'm
still good with Jason DeVos. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Really? You're in the pants. I thought you'd be out of the pants, not in the pants.
Yeah. Same. That's why I had to preface this. In a discussion that was conducted, interview, it turns out that the finances at the CSA not the strongest situation, and that they are exploring possible bankruptcy as an option. It's a last resort, but they're considering it. And yeah,
Now, question before we go on: if they declare bankruptcy, could they come back with a different name and a new badge and everything?
That's a good question. I don't think it works like that.
Damn it!
But didn't
Australian football do that?
Look,
weren't they called Australia Soccer or something, and then they came back as like,
football, Australian Football Federation or something like that. Yeah, they were Soccer Australia.
Yeah,
and they rebranded as, I think, the AFF.
Yeah.
You were thinking it. You were both thinking it as soon as I said AFF.
Last train to piss.
But I mean, would we be able to rebrand as Canadian football?
Yes, the Canadian Football League.
League of Canadian Football.
The World League of Canadian Football.
I'm already bringing back the Montreal Machine. Yeah. So I don't know. Look, I know I've still got some of that Kickstarter money for the scarf loom.
Sweet.
So new tier. If we reach it, we'll put in a bid. So this fucking podcast can run Canadian soccer. Can't do
if they're going bankrupt, I mean, they'll just sell off things at an absolute bargain price. You know, it could be $10, and we get.
Yeah.
You know,
when it's time to redesign the badge, we're not going to do a contest. We're going to hire a fucking graphic designer, you cheap pricks.
And we're going to make it green.
Oh fuck yeah, we're going to make it green.
Great, surely.
Well, okay. If I'm not going to put in the Kickstarter that I get to design the kits, but yeah, we're going to be gray. National home team kit. It's gray. The away one's going to be the blue 150th anniversary kit. That's always going to be in the rotation. We're always going to have a third shirt. It's going to be blue with a white collar. Throwing it
nice.
out there. Yeah. So aside from that, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what to take of this. The news about a pending bankruptcy, or I don't say pending, possible bankruptcy. I think it really does. It's an interesting article because it kind of highlights the, those of you who've even remotely paid attention to the drama of the CSA over the last, we'll say 3 years. You don't even have to go back that far. Just the lack of transparency on every possible fucking level, and just add financial to that mix too. It's interesting. It's depressing. It's sad. There was also, I don't remember seeing where I saw it. There was a bit of a backtrack where DeVos in a different interview basically said like, no, we're not looking at bankruptcy. I'm like, okay, sure. If you looked at the numbers, you're thinking, well, where's this money going to come from, guys? Because you signed it away. So, yeah,
That's Canadians suck a business.
Yeah. I feel like this was just like negotiating in public. I mean, like John Herdman has been doing this for however long. It's, we need to have longer camps. We need to be getting friendlies against big like nations and everything. And, where the fuck's the money coming from that? And obviously it's like the players want more money, and then the sort of women's team want equal sort of preparations and camps and like just performance money, that sort of thing. And yeah, again, where's the money coming from? I feel like this is like DeVos essentially coming out and saying, all right, we don't have the money for this. We just don't. So maybe you guys need to shut up and be a bit more realistic or something. I mean, do I think, we're looking at bankruptcy as a realistic thing? No, but let's have a bit of a public negotiation kind of thing. It's just, this is, rather than, all right, everyone's always coming out and saying, we need more money, and the CSA just kind of keeps quiet and does nothing. Now, right, here we go. We get the CSA saying, no, we just don't have the money. So that's kind of how I interpreted that whole article, really. It's not as the bankruptcy as a serious thing, but it's just like, all right. We generally, for various reasons of incompetence and signing things away, they just don't have the money. So where's it coming from? The other option is, rather than it being telling the players to shut up, it's hey, let's put this out there. And I mean, if more money comes from the government, would that get taken up by CSB, or does the CSB just like sponsorship and TV rights and everything? Presumably if they've decided, all right, well, we can't make any money from this, can they just be given, all right, well, here's a few $1 million every year from the government, same as, own the podium and all those sorts of things that the government funds. And maybe it's a pitch for that. Maybe that's some kind of money that the CSA could actually keep and use, rather than have to give to CSB because they signed it away.
There. I think like the negotiating in public, that seems to be the most reasonable. Like, this is why this interview is even taking place. This is why this information is even getting out into the public. As you've outlined it, it's like, yeah, that makes a crap ton of sense. It's just another negotiation tactic. So,
I mean, if they do go bankrupt, if it's a long protracted thing, I really do hope it lasts a long time, right around till about May 26, so that we can be the first country to host a World Cup without a federation.
That's a wonderful record to have.
Hey, at least we'd break a record.
Woo! Okay, so last segment. Yes, I would apologize for the length of this thing, but it's not your first show with us, is it? Is it? No. So sorry, but anyway, what's coming up? Canada's still doing that Gold Cup thing. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Watch with great excitement as the Canada B+ team, which is a great name. I don't know which one you said it, but it fucking sticks in my head, and I love it. Canada B+ team will be taking on Guatemala on the 1st, and they got wrapping up group play on July 4th with Cuba.
Yeah.
So, yeah, both national holidays. Canada July 4th with Cuba. Viva la Revolucion.
Can Cuba change its name to Guaba so we can play all teams that start with GUA?
Yes.
Then we don't have to change it. Then we don't have to change the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's just, well, it showed up GLP for Guadeloupe.
Ah, for fuck's sake. Gulp.
Yeah.
Big gulp.
Yeah. Oh, dude, big gulp. Oh, that's amazing. I'm thirsty. Anyway, they've got Guatemala, where they're playing close to here in Houston, and they'll be playing their final game also close to Toronto and Houston again. Good thing.
Well,
It's good.
so what you're saying is they've got a few days off between games in Houston.
Yep.
Yes.
What to do? What to do in Houston?
If only there was a club.
If only. If only.
I don't know if there's a club, but I know there's a Nesco bar not that far away from the stadium.
Hey, hey.
There.
Oh.
Anyway,
Nick Sulzma.
Nick Sulzma on the ones and twos.
Chris Shepard and Nick Sulzma.
Crazy. Yeah. So for those of you who didn't check out the other game, because I'm honestly not watching the School Cup unless Canada's playing in it, Guatemala had defeated Cuba 1-0 in Fort Lauderdale shortly after the Canada game finished. So currently it stands Guatemala's at the top of the group with a whopping 3 points, and then 1-0. That being said, let's do some predictions. Let's just barrel through this. Canada versus Guatemala. What are you feeling?
1-1.
I was going to say the same thing.
Should have said it earlier, Tony.
I know.
Oh,
So fast.
yeah. That's. I hope we've all learned our lesson.
1-1. I'm going to say 1-1, but in the other order.
Nice.
Oh.
Subversive shit. Look at this. No, I'm gonna go. Fuck it. I'm gonna go 2-1 Canada.
Hooray.
Yeah, why not? Let's live on the edge. And let's July 4th. I just naturally assume that I don't know. Are we gonna be recording that day? I know we should have talked about this beforehand. But it's in the rundown and Kristen wrote it, therefore we're doing it. And if we end up recording on Tuesday, the day of the game, I know she's not listening to this. We'll just pretend like we didn't cover it in the last episode. So we'll just lie to her, and that'll put egg in our face and carrots in our corpse.
Corpse?
Yeah, because she's gonna kill us with carrots.
Damn, son.
Yeah. Anyway, so predictions: Canada, Cuba.
3-1 Canada.
Nice.
1-0 Cuba. We clinched second place.
What? Okay.
Did I say 1-0 Cuba? 1-0 Canada is what I meant.
Oh, hey. That was alarming. I'm gonna go in between. I'm gonna go 2-0 Canada. And that should put us into the knockouts. And we'll deal with that next week, because we don't know who we're going to play or if we're going to even make it. But if we were, it'd be July 8th, I think. No, July 9th. We'll be playing July 9th. If we do get out of the group, regardless, first or second, it's on the 9th. Okay, we're going to wrap up the show with some Toronto FC. I know, it's been like one of those episodes, right? Yeah. We got a fresh new young coach I don't know if he's fresh or young, but he's new. Terry Dungfield will be leading out his charges for his first match at home against Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake are currently 5-3-2. Their road record, is 5-3-2. They are currently sitting, I think I saw, was it fifth? Sixth. They're tied for fourth. Let's put it that way. They're currently tied for fourth in the West on 27 points, which is significantly more than Toronto. Player to watch.
I mean, Chicho Arango is hard to, but he is a DP. I don't like picking those ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have to go with geometry major Zach McMath.
Oh yeah, the proud Scottish mathematician.
Yes.
Oh.
It was Jasper Loffelsen.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's a good one.
That's a whole ass name.
Oh, Gavin Beavers, hotter than a fever.
Yeah.
What is?
Gavin Beavers.
How did you not catch Gavin Beavers? Gavin Beaver Fever. Oh God, it's not Stephen Caldwell. Oh, it's not Adrian Brody. Oh,
I know.
these first
I
fucking
know.
names are ruining everything. Just like we're so close to having real fun, guys, but no, we gotta have a different normal ass name. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna be glad to be here. Sorry, Justin Glad is his actual name, and that is hilarious to me. But Justin is spelled Justen.
Oh,
What's up with that? What the fuck is up with that? Anyway,
you know what I like about this team?
Go on.
Number 3, number 4, number 6 are all named Brian, and none are spelled like Brian. With
that guy's got an extra A.
Yeah,
There's a Y.
Saying Brian being the traditional, I guess, Anglo-Saxon Brian. Yeah, there's a Brian with a Y, a Brian, like you said, with an extra A, and then a Brian
with the AYA. That's is incredible.
Yeah.
Fancy.
That is above board fancy. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Too many Brians, none of them correct.
On the dance floor. Yep.
Too many Brians on the dance floor.
Oh, they have a Cuban.
Go on. Sandwich, cigar,
Chang.
Natch.
Yep.
And it's Michael, also not spelled typically.
No.
Is that?
I mean, even Zach isn't spelled right when you think about it. They've got a bunch of names that are spelled Eric with a K. Elijah with an I. That's often an E to begin.
Everyone knows you spell Eric with a Q. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is true. It's true. All the good.
I'm just looking at this list here. Everyone, it's just first initial name, and then all of a sudden, Justin Merrim. Where did Justin get his full name?
Yeah. How did his?
It's not like there's 5 Merrims on the team. You could have easily put J Merrim. We'd know who you're talking about.
It could have been anyone. Could have been anyone at all.
Diego Luna. I love that guy.
Rick Rubin. Oh, it's Rubio. God damn it.
Uh,
So close to being fun.
Rubio Rubin? Rubio Rubin. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of fun, Mark.
Yeah, it is. It is.
but the most important thing is their equipment manager, Randy Butts.
Seriously?
Uh-huh.
Did I not have a conversation with somebody about that?
Randy Butts?
Hold, please. No, sorry. I stand corrected. So I was having this random conversation about MISL, the indoor soccer league from the 80s, of the wonderful names that were in there. And Homer Screws of the Tacoma Stars. His card was right above this player named Preki.
Oh,
that's a weird name too.
And then another player with not nearly as good as a name as the one we were looking. Rusty Troy was the guy's name.
Oh.
His card was next to Carl Valentine.
Oh,
yeah. There's a lot of Canadian players who played in the national team who got paid kicking a ball against hockey boards. So
Carl Valentine the Hammer?
Yes. Yes. The partner of the Honky Tonk Man. Yes, that's him.
You mean Honky Man Tonk?
Yeah, Honky Man Tonk.
Greg the Valentine Hammer. Yes.
I loved when they fought Coco Werby.
I can't get enough of these.
That was so fucking hilarious last week. All right. Predictions.
2-0 Salt Lake.
Wow.
New coach Bump spoke with a D.
New coach Dump?
New coach bump, Tony. Come on.
Oh,
Yes, new coach dump.
0-0.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty optimistic result, all things considering. I'm gonna go 1-0. There's not a lot of scoring power on this Salt Lake side. So I just kind of feel like that would be if there was a time to take advantage of there's a lot. Sorry, when I say there isn't a lot of scoring power, there isn't like one player who's super dominant, but there's at least 10 players who've gotten on the score sheet this year. So it can come from anybody. It's just a matter of if it comes at all. So
Don't forget, Apple subscribers, you can choose the Butts cam. Just simply to follow Randy Butts wherever he goes during this match.
see, worth it. You thought it was just Ted Lasso? No, now you get butts.
Yeah.
Extra butts. The over/under on butts. Over butts.
Like putting butts in seats since 2000, whatever.
Oh, that's nice. All right, gentlemen, let's call it a show. Let's call it a show.
That's a show.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for listening in. And probably Kristen will be back doing a better job than what I was just trying to do. So
Hey,
thank you for your patience. No.
that was a solid show.
You don't have to.
Yes.
You don't have to, guys, but thank you. You know what? You can follow, if you want to follow some good Twitter, you can follow him at Duncan D. Fletcher. He's
good Twitter is not something you're going to get there. I'm barely on that thing anymore. I am at least actually there. That's something. But not so much. Anyway, hello.
If you want some good Twitter but corporately branded, at Vocal Minority CA, he's rocking that one. It's Tony Walsh. Tony.
That's not me. I'm just work. I'm the janitor. I look over the people who press all the buttons. I bring them coffee. They're good kids.
You're the Jim Brennan to the tweeters.
I keep their Randy butts in their seats.
Nice.
You follow Kristen, probably the most active of the three of us, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
At Case of Knowles, everywhere on the internet, the entire internet. And this is where I do my spiel, which is thank you to everybody who continues to support our podcast via Patreon. We sincerely appreciate it. Tony did a bunch of shirts. You can find those on our Zazzle shop. Find the link to that on our website, vocalminority.ca. I'm a little behind on the YouTubes, to be fair. My video editor is not being my friend. It has crashed a few times as I'm trying to render these things out, but I promise to catch them up. If this is a thing that you are still interested in using, it's also just good for us to have it up there. It's all good. And you can follow me at KitNerdMark with a K, not a Q. Still, we're doing that bit.
Forever.
It's a lesson to never have an awkwardly spelled Twitter handle at first and then changing it. That's on me. Anyway, until next. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying maybe would have given up on it, but then Eric Zavaleta came along and things spelt with a Q
Not a
are
K.
clearly very valid. It might actually be a thing.
Yeah. No,
so
okay.
It's very necessary to really select that every time to make sure people know.
I forget that fact quite often. Thank you for your service and bringing that back to the forefront. I appreciate that.
Thank you to Eric Zavaleta more than anything.
Thank you for all of your Guatemaling since you've been there. I don't even think he is.
Is it El Salvador, I think, is it?
I don't know. Or is it El Salvador, not Guatemala? Jesus.
That would explain why he's not in Guatemala.
But there we go. There's another fucking Caribbean legend, Eric Zavaleta of El Salvador. That's more Central America, isn't it?
That's Central. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice try.
Yeah.
Well, one of these days,
I got ahead of myself. Didn't think it through.
That's fine.
Hey, we did forget Tyrone Marshall though.
Oh, Tyrone Marshall. Yes, well done, Tony. Yes.
one of these days I'll remember which Central American country Eric Zavaleta plays for. So I've got work to do. Anyway, until next week, Toronto, Canada, the world, get used to it.